David, one of the things I see when I talk to hotels and do some consulting and stuff like that is, and I think it's human nature, we're all good at it. If we're looking for a new car, rather than actually sort of analyse what we want, is it 7 seats? Is it do we need towing capacity? Do we need somewhere for the dogs? First thing we do is we go to a car yard and we just start looking at cars and we
do a test drive.
Yeah, test drive.
Yeah.
Even before we've potentially established our budget, right?
Yep.
In hotels, I see them doing the same thing. So they'll go out and they might be looking at a network or a property management system, and they'll start having demonstrations from vendors and they'll start getting pricing, yet they haven't defined really what their needs are, or their scope, as I'd call it. Why is it important that a hotel actually takes the time to scope out their requirements? And potentially, what are the implications if they don't?
Nice analogy. Yeah, this is the role that brand standards play. It ensures that a network that is deployed to a brand standard will support any of the operational or owner's decisions going forward on what services they wish to layer on the network.
Yep.
And the standards, depending on the group, cover a very wide range of circumstances, and they effectively form the scope part of the brief. And any network that has been deployed to the brand standards, the hotel should be able to, with confidence, make decisions on services they want to layer on the network, knowing that it will work.
Yep, okay. So what's a good example of a hotel that you've seen potentially recently that have not implemented to brand standards, and then later on they've looked to put something on the network and it's like, oh, that's not going to work?
The bloopers reel of IT decisions.
And we could go for hours.
We could go for hours, but we won't. At the moment, the brand standards are often seen as something to aspire to.
Right, okay.
Whereas the brand standards should actually be seen as the minimum standards.
Yeah.
And so often in the past, there are decisions that are made of understanding the brand standard and then trying to cut some corners.
Yeah.
And there are examples of wanting to put in labour efficiency applications that may support your driveway staff or your housekeeping staff, but a decision might have been taken previously to not extend the network into the housekeeping cupboards or areas, or into the car park or onto the driveway.
Yep.
And, the brand standards are there for a reason, to support the ability to onboard services and applications quickly. But if decisions were taken in the past to cut corners on some of those implementations, then you may not run into those problems until you choose to select an application for an area that wasn't covered. The areas that I didn't used to think were important, that now, if I was to own a hotel, I'd want to cover, you want the hotel car park.
Yep.
You want the pool area.
Yep.
You want the spa area. The elevators, although they're expensive to cover,
Yep.
is great from a guest experience point of view because they're not falling over onto the mobile network.
Yep.
But also the staff efficiency in being able to be rerouted, either waiting for an elevator, in an elevator, I believe gives a very good ROI on why you want to cover elevators and the other areas of the hotel that on paper look expensive to get an access point to.
Yep. And in the future, when potentially we have robots that will want to travel in the elevator, they will need Wi-Fi access generally to determine what floor they're on and communicate with the elevator.
They will definitely need to know where they are at all times.
So that's a great example. So what we're saying then is, obviously scoping is critical. The brand standards are not, something to aspire to. They are actually a minimum. And if you do it right, then you are future-proofing yourself. Because as you said, you put your network in now, and then in 12 months' time or whatever, you want to add a labour efficiency tool. If you've done it properly, then you don't have any issues. If you haven't done it properly, then you'll find that literally, it won't work in back of house areas, and that'll only be available to your staff when they're in the guest room and on the floor, which makes it half a solution in a sense.
Yes. And the way I like to look at it is the simplicity of a hotel network is just like what we have at home. The things that cause issues with the family is coverage,
Yep.
speed,
Yep.